Hello and welcome to the $1 Million Message. This is your Fearless Friday message with Callie DeBlanda Brigham, calling from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. It is Holy Week and Holy Weekend. Today, the morning that I'm recording this message, is Good Friday, and Easter Sunday is a-comin'. One year I did a whole message on the word good. I know that we hear that good is the enemy of great and all those things, and that could be true. But there is a beauty to the word good. As a matter of fact, during creation, when God would look at what he created, he would say, it is good. And today is good too. I was reading a little phrase that I sent to my Bible study girls that said, we don't praise him because it's good. We praise him because he's good. So before I go into my message, I just want to use this platform to say, we talk about the priorities of Mary Kay, right? Faith first, family second, career third. And if that still is something that you just don't really know about or understand, or you're searching or you want to know more, you can definitely reach out to any one of us $1 Million Messengers. And we would love to tell you about a good God who loves you. Well, I want to talk to you today about, I want to talk to you about this double bonus for consultants where your Great Start bonus is doubled from $50 to $100, and also that we get a twice as nice promotion from Mary Kay that we get to use in the next seminar year for our Great Start Qualified. So on a practical note, I want to talk to you about team building. But I will tell you that I'm going to finish today with a story that is a little bit emotional for me. I've shared it now a couple of times in the last few days, so we'll see how I can make it through. But I want to talk to you a little bit about team building, since that is a big part and a big push for the month of April. So a little while back, I did a survey of some women, my customers and people that I knew that were not in Mary Kay. And I asked them if they were ever to consider a business like this, what would be their reasons. I took all of their answers and I compiled them down to 3 main categories. And I'll tell you that this is what I use when I share marketing with people. Now, before I tell you what I want to say the best way to do marketing is not to tell people things, but it's to ask them. And so my most successful marketing appointments, sharing appointments, career chats, whatever you want to call them, is when they're talking more, I'm talking less, and I'm answering questions for them that they have. So I just want to say that first. Okay, but I've compiled these 3 things, and this is usually where I go. I feel like this is so relevant. I found these 3 things before the pandemic, but oh my goodness, the pandemic has signed, sealed, delivered that these are the 3 things. So when I'm sharing about this opportunity, it falls into these categories. Do you want to know what they are? Of course you do. They won't be a surprise, but this is what I learned, that women would be drawn to a business like an opportunity like this for 3 reasons. Number 1, money. Number 2, choices. And number 3, a place to belong. Money, choices, and a place to belong. And so that's typically what I cover. And when I talk about money, and that part of the reason that I wanted to concentrate on that today is for the last few weeks I've been sharing with you our STEM training that we've been doing, thanks to Glory Mayfield Banks just initiating that thought in our heads. Skills, and then time management, emotional management, and then this past week for our training for our units, we talked about money management. That's a little challenging to share on a $1 Million message because it was a lot about splitting up your money and checking accounts. And so I decided not to go there fully today. But I did want to talk about that first category, money. Some of the things that I share are coming from my mom's Mary Kay bestie, National Sales Director Emeritus Kendra Criss-Cross. And Kendra says that there are 4 reasons. There are 4 reasons to accumulate wealth, or to become fiscally fit, or to have control over your finances, or to have more, right? One of the things we talked about in money management is it's no fun to manage no money, right? You really don't have anything to manage. So the more money you have, the more you get to manage. So why do we create money? For 4 reasons. First is to spend, right? I know that sounds frivolous, but the reality is we all have needs and we all have wants, right? We have things that we're responsible for and that we've signed up for. And for some consultants, this is a really critical piece in their business because you might need to be responsible for something in your household. Now, for me, I always was the primary source of income, so I really didn't have a choice. But if this is your secondary or your fund money or your side hustle, I would suggest that you find something monthly that your Mary Kay business pays for that means something to you so that you have a contributor spirit, but that you also have accountability and you have something that you have signed up for. Does that make sense? So anyways, money, first reason, spend. Number 2, save. You know, if anything this last year has showed us, we might need a plan B or C or Z. And we may not need or want to wait on the government to give us stimulus money, right? We might need it today for a rainy day, for a safety net. And did you know that 60% of Americans have $1,000 or less in savings? That statistic was prior to the pandemic. And half of those have $0. They have nothing in savings. So I suggest a woman come in, she try Mary Kay until she has at least $1,000 emergency fund. Then she can quit if she wants. Of course, she's not going to quit then, right? But I say come in, make enough so you've got a safety net, you've got your savings, and then you can decide what you want to do with it. So savings. Number 3 is investing. This is the third reason that you might want to consider a Mary Kay business, or those of you that are obviously already in might want to consider upping this Mary Kay business. Statistically, women live longer than men. Also, statistically, women don't want to think about the future. They don't want to have to be the primary person that figures out all of the things like money market accounts and right and retirement and all of that. But it's very important that we have control over that. You're brilliant women. Why wouldn't you want to know about that? You can figure it out, right? So number 3 is investing. Number 4 is where I want to settle today. It is my favorite, and it always has been. And that is to give. Frequently, generously, and when possible, anonymously. To give. So I'm going to tell you a little story here today because as you start your April, as we're here on Good Friday and Easter weekend, I want you to think about what have you been holding back in your Mary Kay business that maybe needs to change this month so that number 4 comes freely for you. You know, I think that when we set our goals, oftentimes we think about the top 3 things, right? We think, okay, so I'm taking my family on vacation, which, by the way, I'm taking my family on vacation today. We're going to load up and head to the Blue Ridge Mountains, the 4 Brighams. It's my kids' spring break starts today, and I'm delighted to be able to use my Mary Kay money to go to a cabin above a little creek and to go explore and to be unplugged. So it's kind of easy to set those goals, isn't it? To be able to think about what your needs are or what your wants are. Maybe a trip to, wherever now that things are starting to open up. And then, of course, it does make sense that we start to save our money. It does make sense that we start to think for the future. But I want you to consider number 4. We don't have to say yes to everything, but don't you want the ability to say yes when you see a need arise? So here's the story I'm going to tell you that has so touched my heart and has made me eternally grateful that I have the opportunity in Mary Kay to make money anytime I want to or need to. So my daughter, Maddie, is in 4th grade, and Monday I picked her up from school, and she shared with me something that had happened to one of her classmates. This little girl that's in her class is so precious. This is her first year at this school, and the reason for that is that 1 year ago, this past weekend, 1 year ago, her mom passed away from cancer. The little girl in Maddie's class, I'm not going to say her name, but the little girl in Maddie's class is one of 6 siblings, and she's towards the eldest. So imagine there's now 6 siblings without a mom. The dad has lost his bride and the mother of his children. And she was homeschooling them, and that's why now they're in school. So there's been a lot of adjustments for this family. It's been challenging, but I will tell you, every time I see her, she's got the brightest, sweetest smile on her face. She's come to Maddie's birthday party, and she's just a joy to be around. So again, needless to say, that's a lot to handle. Well, when I picked up Maddie, I could tell something was on her mind. I couldn't quite figure it out. We got in the car, and she told me that this little girl, once again, had gone through a tragedy. This past weekend, her grandfather, her father's father, passed away. He drowned. Here where I live, there was a lot of riptides, and it was, a very angry Gulf of Mexico, and he drowned while he was there with his family. And so Maddie's telling me this story. Of course, my heart just completely breaks wide open, and it was almost 1 year exactly, 1 day away from a year of when her mom passed. How do you handle that in fourth grade? How do you handle those emotions? Well, how do you handle it when it's your friend? So Maddie's in the car, and she's telling me, and I could just tell she's trying to process in her 10-year-old brain, what does she say to her friend? How does she love on her? How does she care for her? And she started to say, I want to do something. And she said, well, her birthday's in 2 weeks, and maybe I could, we could go today. By the way, Maddie I'm confident in the Strengths Finders. Activator has to be one of her top 5. When she comes up with an idea, she does it. For example, last night, as I'm getting ready to go to bed, she decides she wants to make cookie dough for the road trip and starts pulling out all of the ingredients in the pot. Girl just decides and she does it. So she says, maybe I could go right now and get her a birthday gift and give it to her birthday. I said, oh, that's a lovely idea. And then she said, maybe I'll talk to the kids in my class and maybe they want to do that too. I said, oh, that would be precious. She would love it. And then she just said, well, I just don't know that that's it. I said, okay. She processed it through the day and the afternoon and the evening. And of course, I'm just praying for this family, just desperately for God just to be good to them in any way possible. And she comes to me that night and she says, I've got it. I said, what is it? And she said, I want to throw her a birthday party. I said, oh, I love that idea. I said, I love that idea. I said, now first I'm going to get permission from your dad. But as long as he says, okay, I said, what do you want to do? She says, I want to give her the best birthday party she's ever had. Oh, okay, I am getting emotional. And she said, I want it to be whatever she's ever dreamed of doing. And I want there to be so many presents, and I want all of our classmates to be there. And I want it to just be so special, and I want it to be her best birthday. I said, I do too. I contacted the dad, and I, of course, gave him our fervent condolences. And I said, I'm going to ask you another question later. I didn't want to lead with that. But later I asked him if it would be okay that my Maddie wanted to love on his daughter by throwing her birthday party. He said that would be wonderful. And that's what we're doing. I don't care how much it's going to cost, but we're going to throw this little girl the best birthday party that she's ever had. Now, is it going to take away the pain of what she's going through? Is it going to replace anything? Of course it's not. But is it going to just show her some love? Is it going to tell her that people care and that she matters and that she's special? Absolutely. I shared it, of course, with the other fourth grade moms. They're all in. I asked the dad for wish lists, not just for his daughter, but the other siblings, because no sibling likes to go to a birthday party for their sibling and not get anything. So I told Maddie, I said, you know what, honey, we're going to plan this amazing party wherever she wants to go. It's going to be a surprise, by the way. It's going to be a surprise. And I said, my Mary Kay money's going to pay for it. I can't wait to tell my customers over the course of the next couple of weeks that when they purchase from me, what it's going for. Oh, my goodness. How amazing is that? But you know what? I have to say, if the first 3 things in my life weren't taken care of, maybe it would be a little challenge to be able to give. But I'm thankful that all 4 of those things can be taken care of with my Mary Kay business, with my appointments, with my reorders, with building my business. And so I just want you to know that you have that ability too. That yes, for whatever it is, stop playing small in what we do. Because when we play small, you know what? I've experienced this. It's kind of selfish. When we play small, we have to take care of us first. But when we don't and we play big, we get to say, yes, honey, that's a great idea. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's go all in. And the last thing I'll say, because this did make me emotional, I shared it with my Bible study yesterday. And one of the women on there, most of the women on there could be my mom or my grandma. I'm so blessed by these women and their wisdom. And one of them said, one of the things to think about is, if something ever happened to you, Callie, she said, you would hope that there would be women out there that would love on your children the way that you're loving on her. And I don't say any of this for you to think, oh, what a great family you have, Callie, or what a great daughter. She has her moments. But I want to say that being able to say yes, and we don't like to talk about money, and it feels uncomfortable, and it feels weird, and we're afraid to go recruit, and we don't want to be pushy. But you know what? Go be pushy today. Go be pushy today, because a woman out there might need what you have. And then be pushy on yourself. Be pushy on yourself. And say, you know what? I'm going to step up, and I'm going to have bigger goals than I thought I had, because I have a bigger opportunity than maybe I ever dreamed. So have a good Friday. Have a good Friday. And you know what? Someday, all these tears will be wiped away, right? So if you don't know them and you don't know what Easter Sunday means, please reach out to me. I would be honored. All right. I love you guys. I'll be back next Friday after our Blue Ridge trip, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. Bye-bye.